Hey everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at the brand new Lexus Sport Concept. So it previews or might be a successor to the Lexus LFA, which is very exciting. So it was unveiled at the Monterey Car Week in August, and there's not a lot of details that we know about it, apart from the fact that, look, it looks like it could be quite close to production at the moment. So it could have a hybrid or pure electric drivetrain. Some publications have said this is pure electric, judging by the fact that the exhaust pipes don't seem to be fully visible, but could also be a hybrid as well. And yeah, potentially it could be something that could rival the likes of Ferrari and McLaren, Lamborghini in performance, at least their entry level cars, similar to what the LFA did all those years ago. So there's been rumors of the actual successor having a twin turbo V8 with a hybrid powertrain, which could have around 900 horsepower, which will be a huge step up over the 553 horsepower from the 4.8 liter V10, the much loved V10 of the LFA. I still remember when it came out and that amazing sound that Yamaha worked on with Lexus to just produce an engine that sounded like nothing else. I think only maybe the Carrera GT from Porsche from the early 2000s really rivaled it in terms of that pure engine note. So let's have a look now at the exterior design and dive a bit deeper into how it might actually look like when it goes into production. So from the front end here, I think it looks amazing actually. Gives me a bit of a TVR vibe. There's a stillborn TVR that unfortunately was never released, unveiled a few years ago, that it kind of reminds me of in terms of the headlights especially. You still got that classic L-shaped DRL signature that Lexus have been known for the last kind of 15 to 20 years. And there's even a little bit of a McLaren in here as well with these intakes, but I can definitely see some throwbacks to the LFA. So we've got the intake here up around the shoulders, which are very LFA. I think in terms of the rear end here as well, we've got these kind of circular cutouts, or not circular, but these triangular cutouts, which are very similar to the LFA. So if we go look at what the LFA looked like, you can see that very reminiscent, a very similar shape here. And I love the full length LED and the kind of intricacy of this element here coming down as well. Adds a little bit of style. It's more than just a light bar, which I know Lexus have been rolling across their models, but this adds a little bit more character here. And yeah, I love the side profile as well. The side profile, this kind of line that comes through from the wheel arch here up around the shoulders. That's very sleek but very crisp line. I love that. I think it even looks a little bit better than the LFA here. So the LFA had quite a clean actually sheet design, but yeah, I love this little bit of crispness here. It even has a little bit of maybe a Dodge Viper type SLS AMG kind of vibe here, which I really like too. These door mirrors probably will not make production. They're not even mirrors, they're cameras. And then if you see the front, we can see these deep scoops here on the bonnet, super aggressive and yeah, beautiful. Super nice looking car here compared to the LFA. I actually think it looks nice in the LFA. I remember when the LFA first came out, people didn't think it looked quite that good, but it's aged well over time. And I think as others have elevated to a legendary status, and Jeremy Clarkson once called it the best car in the world. And before then, it wasn't actually that well liked. People loved the sound, but it wasn't really highly regarded because it was slower than the likes of the Nissan GTR when it came out. It was very, very expensive, but it's become a real collector's item. And people that love Japanese sports cars or any kind of supercars really had a soft spot for this model. I think if we came close to this design, this would be a very worthy successor. Now, the confusing part of this whole thing is that they've had a few concepts now which have looked quite different. So we don't actually know what the final car will look like or if there will be two cars at all. So here we have the Toyota GR, I believe the GR GT3 concept from a couple of years ago, which is a strong profile with a long bonnet, short rear. It was classic kind of front engine rear wheel drive proportions, which Originally they were talking about this being a Toyota, but then now we're thinking this might evolve into the Lexus LFR. But then again, it looks quite different to this car. So yeah, we don't know really what's happening. Is this going to be a completely separate model, or is this actually going to evolve into something that looks like this? I think the fact that this looks very production ready or very close to production makes me think that at least one car is coming out with this design. But if we go and look at some of the spy shots here, I think these look very similar to this car. So yeah, I think my money, I think, is that there's going to be two cars, and this potentially is going to be maybe the LFR that's sitting in between the current lineup and where maybe the LFA was positioned, and this might be something that's pure electric that might sit above it. So yeah, not too sure what the direction they're going to go in, but it's exciting that Lexus are pursuing this category again. And then we have this Lexus electrified sport concept from a few years ago. So this was fully electric and they mentioned it as such. And this looks very different to this car. So I think even more McLaren-like in the end, in the front here with the scoops that we've got going. And they've got a little bit of a droopy profile, I feel, especially towards the rear, which I guess it gives it a lot of kind of power, especially if it's rear wheel drive here, it gives it that powerful stance. But look, if it was me, I would definitely go with the sport concept in terms of design. I think it looks far more resolved. This looks a little bit, it almost looks like it's melting at the back here. Still a cool design, don't get me wrong, but I think they've refined and honed it a little bit more here. So yeah, if it was my money, I would say this is going to be the electric model, and then we're going to still see a hybrid car that comes out. It looks a little bit more like the GR GT3 here, judging by the spy shots. But look, exciting times ahead for Lexus and Lexus fans, and I'm keen to see what they come out with.